Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we've got an unboxing today, actually a bunch of unboxings. I picked up a whole bunch of Apple stuff because there were things that I thought you all might be interested in. So I picked up the new 10.2-inch iPad, and I always like to get these whenever they update them because this is the most affordable iPad that's out there. And we're going to be doing a full review of all this stuff as the week progresses here. And I also picked up the new iPad mini because I like the way it looks, and I think I might have a few uses for it in the near future. So I got one of those to see how it works, and we'll review that one as well. And then I also picked up the iPhone 13 Pro. I wasn't planning on getting the 13 Pro, but they offered me a good trade-in offer on it. And on top of that, what attracted me to the new phone is that it can record ProRes video, and I do a lot of B-roll shooting for my YouTube channel on my existing iPhone 12 Pro, and if I can bring my video over in the same format that I edit, that can help out my workflow. So that was my mental justification for buying yet another phone. And what we're going to do today is unbox all this stuff. We'll probably get my iPhone transferred over so you can see some ways to get one phone moved over to the new one, and then in a couple of days we'll have reviews of all this stuff as I get some more time to play around with it. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that I paid for all of this stuff with my own funds. It's been a very expensive week. All of the opinions you're about to hear, though, are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what's inside these boxes. All right, so we're going to start off with the new iPad. We'll get to the more interesting stuff as we work our way through here. Now, this, of course, is the entry-level model. I bought the 64 gig version. And I always like to look at the entry level of everything that's out there that people might be looking at, because these are the most affordable things, and you can often see what you end up with. Now, a couple of years ago, I bought my daughters the entry-level iPads back when they were only 9 inches. And those were nice, but they only had 32 gigs of storage. And I'll tell you what, I am paying the price for that now. Let me just get my camera zoomed out here a little bit so we can get a little bit more room here. And we'll open it up. Now, I'm not expecting anything different from a hardware standpoint on this new iPad. They generally keep these entry-level ones looking exactly the same, and that's partly because they don't have to retool a lot of their equipment to manufacture it. It keeps the cost down. So this is it. It looks pretty much the way my kids' iPads look, just a little bit larger. And it actually is exactly the same as the one I looked at last year when they last revved the hardware. So we'll let that boot up, and I will get it configured and operating very soon. So we'll let that boot up, and you can get a sense as to the bezel size there. So you can see, it's got the big bezels on the top. It's kind of the older design, but it's still functional. And you've got the fingerprint reader here. There's a headphone jack. As you can see, they kept that. And you've got a camera in the back and one on the front. This new one now will support, I think it's got higher resolution cameras, and it can do that thing where it follows you around and stuff. So there's some neat things to look at there. We have our little instruction guide to get set up, along with some Apple stickers. Back in my day, they used to give you those colorful stickers, but now they're just the monochromatic stickers. And what's very nice is that we have a charger here. This is a USB-C charger. And this looks like a 20-watt charger, actually, which is great. Now, this iPad, the 10.2 now, doesn't support USB-C. It doesn't have a USB-C port. It has a Lightning port, but you will get the faster charging with this power adapter and its USB connector on the other end. So you plug the USB-C into that, and you got your Lightning going out to the iPad. So it's nice to see that on the low end of the spectrum, you at least get a power supply. We're not going to be seeing that in the iPad or the iPhone Pro when we unbox that in a little bit. All right, next up is our iPhone 13 Pro, and we're going to unbox it, but we're also going to transfer data over from my existing phone. So let's take a look and see what it looks like, and we'll compare it to the prior edition and see what's different. It looks like the cameras might be larger, but we'll see when we get it out of the box. Ooh, look at that. One thing is for sure, like the unboxing experience is always top-notch with these Apple products. You feel like you're unboxing a piece of jewelry, right? So let's take the screen cover off. The screen will never look this good again, so enjoy it. And I'll switch it on here. And in my hand, it feels a bit heavier than my existing phone, but it's about the same size. It's got the stainless steel around it. And look at the size of those cameras. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me show you what the existing phone looks like. So here is my existing one. This is the 12 Pro. They're exactly the same size. I think the notch is smaller at the top on the new phone here. Yeah, they're pretty much the same size. But look at the size difference on the cameras. So the cameras are they're bigger. But I think, yeah, it looks like the camera area is larger, so the cases may not all fit on this one. I'll have to try some cases out and see what fits. Now, this does not come with a power adapter, much like the other one. So you get the cable, but not the power adapter, which is funny because you think about the fact that this is much more expensive than the iPad, and you don't get a power adapter with the more expensive product. It does have a SIM popper here because what we need to do is get my SIM card taken out of my existing phone and transferred to the new one. So we're going to do that as well. So now what I want to do is get these phones set up. And one of the things that you can do on the iPhone is bring your old phone close to the new one, and you can actually transfer everything over wirelessly from one phone to the other. And my understanding when you do that phone-to-phone transfer is that it will bring over a lot of the apps that would often require you to log in again. So you basically get an image of your old phone on the new one, and that's what we're going to try right now. So let's take a look and see what the steps are for that. All right, so now we've got the two phones close to each other. This phone said, hey, do you want to do the quick setup? And it says to click continue, which I'm going to do. And now what it wants me to do is take a picture of this barcode that it's got up on the screen here. So we're going to do that. And that's going to begin this transfer process over. Now what I have to do real quick is type in my passcode from the other phone. So I'm going to do that. And when I'm done with that, we'll see what happens next. All right, so now it is asking me how I want to transfer my data. And I am going to do the transfer from iPhone. This is going to take about 2 hours, it says. And we're probably going to want to plug in the phone when we do it. And the good news is that because I just unboxed the new iPad, the entry-level iPad, it comes with a power adapter that the iPhone doesn't come with. So we're going to use that to keep the phone's battery going while it's doing this wireless transfer. And just to give you an idea as to what's going to come over here, it's going to bring over all of my apps from the other phone. It's also going to bring in my Siri settings and all the things that I've got set up on the existing phone here, as you can see. And it looks like it's also going to pair my watch up automatically too, because I have my watch paired to the current phone. So those are things that I'm all good to do. I'm going to click continue here and just let it go on autopilot until it's done. And of course, I'm going to plug it in. All right, now this is the moment everybody on my live stream has been waiting for, which is the unboxing of the iPad mini. And I just noticed there's a pull tab for the plastic, so we don't need my knife to get the box open here. And this is a big redesign of the iPad mini. And I actually have a prior edition mini here on my desk because my wife has one. So we'll compare what the old one looks like to the new one. And it looks like they kind of followed the design language with this new one of the iPad Air. So the bezels, as you can see, are more consistent across the device. And we'll see how it looks in person when we take it out of the box. And I've got one thing to unbox related to the iPad mini here in a second. So I got the charcoal one. Probably should have got the blue one also. But I like this. This is nice. So it's got, you know, it feels like the Pro iPad and the iPad Air, it's all metal. It's the same material all around. So it's not going to have a wireless charging capability, but it feels good. It's got a nice big camera back there too. And you know what I like about this? It reminds me a lot of the data pads on Star Trek. It's like the same size. It looks like it from behind, like when they would hand Captain Picard his data pad. So that's slick. So the bezels are, I think, on the sides. Let's see, this is my wife's iPad. So the bezels are thicker on the sides, right? Yeah, slightly thicker. If we line it up there, it's hard to line it up. Slightly thicker on the sides versus the old one, but the top and bottom bezels are much smaller, so the screen is larger. So here's the old one again versus the new one. So you have a much bigger screen. So I think it's a good trade-off here. And again, it looks a lot like the existing iPad Air. So the bezels are about iPad Air size bezels, not quite the Pro size bezels. But it's slick. I really like the way this looks. And I got this because I haven't been reading as much as I would like to at night. And I really like the ebooks, and I think having something smaller to hold in bed reading is easier than the big iPad that I have already. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this might integrate into my life here. So we'll experiment with that. My wife does a lot of reading on her iPad already, so we'll put that aside there. She's probably going to want to take this from me when she sees it, because I think she's going to like it. So I may end up with 2 of these by the time we're done. And one other thing people are using iPads for, these have become really popular in aviation, private planes and stuff, and even big, commercial jets. So I think this is going to be a real winner for aviators, because you're getting a much bigger screen in essentially the same physical form factor. Actually, it's even smaller and it's got a bigger screen. So there's some real wins here on the design side. This is really nice. This may actually be my favorite iPad. Now I also have my iPad Pro Pencil, because this works with the Pencil 2 from Apple. There's a charging connector here, and that connects to the side just like it does on the iPad Pro, and I'm assuming the iPad Air as well. I think the iPad Air supports this Pencil too. So really slick. So we'll have a full review of this coming up pretty soon, but it's nice. You got the camera right there on the top. Nice. Now this has a USB Type-C port. It does not have a Lightning port. So let's see what we have in the box here. And again, the lower priced items here in the Apple lineup come with the power adapter, and the most expensive ones don't. So this is another 20-watt USB-C charger. So we got another one to add to the repertoire. And then we have a USB-C to USB-C cable. And my experience with these USB-C ports on these iPads is that they're full function. So you can plug in a docking station and get video out, power in, get additional USB ports added. It's kind of like a little computer, except that it's running iPad OS and not Mac OS. And I think it would be a real killer app to get a device like this that could run Mac OS when it's docked, but we can dream. Here's the other stuff that comes in here. Just like the other ones, we get the little instruction manual, and we have some Apple stickers. And what I also got for it was the Smart Folio. This does not have a keyboard or anything on it, but it does protect the screen. So we'll take a look and see how this comes together. And I got a nice blue one here. And we can slide the iPad in, and it closes up. And you've probably seen these before on other iPads. So it gives you a bump for the camera there. And yeah, so it kind of moves around a little bit on the top here like the other one does, but it's got the nice fuzzy interior there to keep the screen from scratching. So very nice. Now one thing I forgot to mention is that this does not have Face ID. It's got a fingerprint reader built into the power button. So you just rest your finger on the power switch and that will unlock it. So it's very similar to the iPad Air in that regard. And I think that's going to do it for this unboxing of Apple stuff. So this is kind of a preview of a bunch of things that will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for full reviews of all of this stuff. And I'm looking forward to playing with these things and figuring out how I might integrate some of them into my workflow. And if I can't, I'll find another home for them. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Hot Sauce and Video Games, Brian Parker, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Thomas Anfang, Jim Tanis, and Handheld Obsession. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.